he raised Gilles like a soldier, not just in the art of war, but in strategy, politics, theology, and manipulation. By the time Gilles was a teenager, he was fluent in Latin, skilled with a blade, and already blooded in battle. But there was something else forming beneath the surface, something colder. While most boys his age were finding joy in tournaments or books, Gilles found a fascination with control, with fear, with death. His tutors noticed it, so did the servants, but no one said a word. Not when he had the family name and a sword on his hip. Then, in 1429, came a turning point. France was bleeding under the English in the 100 Years' War. Morale was low, cities were falling, and then, out of nowhere, came a teenage girl in armor. She said she had visions from God. She said she could save France. Her name was Joan of Arc, and while most nobles laughed her off as mad, Gilles did not. He met her, fought beside her, and believed in her. Together, they led victories that turned the tide of the war. Gilles became her protector, her shadow. Some said he worshipped her, some said he loved her. But whatever the truth, when Joan was captured by the English and burned alive at the stake, something inside Gilles snapped. He returned home a hero, but he was hollow. And it was from that emptiness that something new began to grow. Back on his estate, far from the battlefield, Gilles grew bored. He spent his fortune on lavish feasts, golden robes, musicians, exotic animals, and theatrical productions in which he always played the hero. But the money didn't last. Within a few short years, Gilles had burned through nearly all of his wealth. He began selling land, pawning relics, and making enemies. He didn't care. He wanted something else, something more. And that's when he turned to alchemy. Not the metaphorical kind. Gilles genuinely believed he could summon demons, make pacts, and unlock forbidden power. He built secret rooms beneath his castle. He filled them with arcane symbols, black candles, and books written in languages no one could read. He invited an Italian named Francesco Prelati to come live with him, an alchemist who claimed he could speak with devils. Together they performed rituals. Gilles would sacrifice animals and chant into the dark, begging for wealth, power, and enlightenment. But still, nothing came. And so, in his frustration, he made a choice. If animals weren't enough, he would offer something greater. Around this time, children in the nearby villages began to disappear. At first, it was just one or two. A young boy heading to the market, a servant's daughter walking home after dusk. They vanished like smoke. No bodies, no evidence, just absence. Parents searched. Villagers whispered. But Gilles was nobility. He threw lavish events, paid good wages, and spoke with elegance. Who would dare accuse a marshal of France? And besides, Gilles had a method. He would send out trusted servants to scout the villages. They would offer children, usually boys between 6 and 14, jobs, food, or education at the castle. Poor families, desperate and hungry, often agreed. The children would leave and never return. Inside the castle, behind stone walls and iron doors, Gilles transformed. Witnesses later described rooms draped in black, lit by a single candle. The children were stripped, mocked, and told to pray. Then, Gilles would descend upon them. What he did defies belief.